Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian Barrera, CEO for LC Innovation here. Just having some fun, like always, talking about football right now. A lot of my work, a lot of my consulting, a lot of the first couple books that I wrote have to do with sports, especially successful franchises and sometimes bad franchises, and just understanding them, seeing what's going on, seeing what they do great. Because we take so much time out of our lives to watch these sports, to watch these games, that we don't really implement some of the things that we're seeing on TV into our own businesses. Some of the things that we see from these franchises into our own businesses, some of the best practices that we see, we're not. And as you can see today, I'm wearing my Jacksonville Jaguars polo. I'm a huge Jacksonville Jaguar fan. I've been a Jacksonville Jaguar fan since 1998, I believe, 1997. Huge fan. But yeah, and I'm just having a blast doing this stuff, and you guys keep watching it, so I'm going to keep doing it. And once again, I keep comparing it to the work that I do in consulting. That's going to be towards the end of the video. I know you football junkies are going to want us to talk about football, but man, I was really motivated to talk to you guys about the rookie running backs this year. 2025, the NFL draft was insane, but the rookie running backs that I want to talk to you guys about, and as always, at the end of my video, I compare it to something out in the business place that I've learned or something I've created or something that I've seen. But if you look at these rookie running backs, Croskey-Merritt, they call him Bill, right? But Croskey-Merritt, 82 yards. RJ Harvey Croskey-Merritt is going to play tonight for the Washington Redskins. He had 82 yards last week on 10 carries, I believe. 10 carries, 82 yards, had a couple big runs. Rookie RJ Harvey, I think he had one huge run that was pretty much it, but he's a rookie running back. Omarion Hampton for the Chargers, 48 yards. DJ Giddens, Ashton Jeanty, the guy from the Raiders, who everyone's hyping up right now from the Las Vegas Raiders. I think Ashton Jeanty is by far the best running back in this group. They were zeroing in on him, so I understand. Dylan Sampson, Treyvon Henderson, Ollie Gordon, Caleb Johnson. Skatebo, I like Caleb Johnson myself. I know he wasn't that good during camp for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But man, this guy's a big back. I think he's like 6'2", 2 something, but he's a big back. And if you know the Pittsburgh Steelers, I hate the Steelers, not as much as I hate the Tennessee Titans. But I'm not a Steelers fan because I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. And whenever the Jacksonville Jaguars make it to the playoffs, which is very rare, most of the time we play the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans, or the Pittsburgh Steelers. It looks like we always beat the Steelers. It's win or lose with the Bills, but we always lose to the Titans. In the mid and late 90s, we lost to the Titans quite a bit. Anyways, yeah, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. The only Jacksonville Jaguar fan you're ever going to meet that was born and raised in California. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of theirs. And at the end of this video, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to go into why I like the Jacksonville Jaguars at the end of this video, as well as going into how this is in the workplace. Write down my notes real quick. Workplace, right? So yeah. So man, these running backs, crazy, crazy good. I got a few of these running backs in my fantasy football league because it was towards people weren't drafting them. They weren't drafting them because they were new names, they were rookies, and they didn't get them. But it's such an interesting system how, like, I feel like once a team does something successful, they wait till after that team starts losing or they rebuild to start doing what they're doing, um, or start doing what they did. So right now, like, everyone's doing a committee, a running backs committee. They call it the RBC, right? Running backs committee, and the committee is pretty much, you have that plotter, that goal line back, the one who gets you a few yards to start off with. Then you have that elusive running back, and then you also have that pass catching back that pass blocks really well as well. And that's what was going over with Bill Belichick in his system that he built the Patriots. He always had three amazing running backs. LeGarrette Blount came back 2 or 3 times. They drafted Sony Michel, but that was after they went on their second championship run in the late 2010s. But then they also had James White quite a bit, who, like, was not the greatest running back, but he could catch, he could block, and he was elusive enough to be really good. But these running backs, though, I mean, like, I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I've never seen so many coaches so open to using rookies. So we saw this last year with Brian Thomas Jr. I think it was Malik Neighbors, or Malik Neighbors might have been the year before. But then we also had Marvin Harrison Jr. And just, we're starting to use the coaches are starting to use all these young players that are very, very skilled. Travis Hunter this year with the Jaguars, he was used in the slot quite a bit. But that's what I'm seeing with these guys. That's what I'm seeing with these rookie running backs, is that the coaches are starting to use them as a committee. Now, I know there's these inhumane things that we talk about, how these coaches use these running backs, they run them to the ground, then they get rid of them and they cut them and their careers are over, right? I totally understand the inhumane part of it, and I am appreciative of it. I understand it. I agree with it. But we're just talking football here, and we're talking systems, right? That's more of a cultural thing that we need to talk about. But for right now, we're talking about football, and in football, the systems that are being built are based off that elusive or first down back, and the coaches are starting to get away from the running backs that are three down backs, the workhorses, right? They're starting to get away from them. Yeah, you still have Saquon Barkley, with the Philadelphia Eagles, but they just traded for the Jacksonville Jaguars running back Tank Bigsby. I'm gonna get into why they did that in the next video, but check it out, like they're using these young running backs. So if you're a fantasy football guru, if you love fantasy football and you're scared to take rookies, I've always been scared to take rookies. That might be why I haven't won my own fantasy football league ever, and it's been around for 17 years. I've won countless other fantasy football leagues, but I've never won my own league. My own league is very tough. It's 12 teams, sometimes it's 14 teams. We score defense, quarterbacks. We try to keep it even as possible. I think my league is the only league that has a high points for defense, right? If your defense does really good and wipes out another team, they're going to score pretty high. But yeah, so I'm traditionally a person that doesn't like getting rookie players onto my fantasy football team. But like I said, last year, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison kind of opened me up a little bit, kind of opened up my eyes. But this year, it's the running backs. It's the running backs that are killing it. I'm really interested to see Croskey-Merritt today. I just traded DeAndre Swift from the Chicago Bears, the running back from the Chicago Bears. I just traded him for RJ Harvey. It's funny because I could have drafted RJ Harvey instead of DeAndre Swift, but I drafted DeAndre Swift because I thought he was going to be a really good year. He might still have a good year. He's known to come on towards the second half of the year. But man, the Bears are using a lot of players as their running backs. I forgot their secondary back's name, but they're using him quite a bit. At the same time, I can't stand the Bears. I'm just going to say there's probably going to be a lot of people going to talk trash to me right now. I hate the Chicago Bears. The biggest teams that I hate in the NFL, I think I said this earlier, the Tennessee Titans is number one. I hate the Tennessee Titans. I don't hate the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I can't stand them. So I'm going to move the Steelers to number 3. But the second team that I hate the most is definitely, without the shadow of a doubt, the Chicago Bears. And the reason why is because the Chicago Bears are an amazing team when you don't think they're going to be an amazing team. And then when you think they're going to be an amazing team, they're not an amazing team. So every time I bet money on them, every time I've drafted players from them, they just fall apart. And I don't understand it. I don't understand the Chicago Bears. Brian Urlacher was amazing. I know they've had some of the greatest football players of all time. You're probably calling me stupid right now as you're watching this, saying, "Oh man, they had the greatest players, some of the greatest players of all time." I totally get it. But just in the 30 years that I've been liking football, every year they're supposed to do good. In my eyes, they do bad. And when they're supposed to be bad, they do good and probably make the Super Bowl. So yeah, but anyways, so I traded DeAndre Swift for RJ Harvey. I think RJ Harvey's going to kill it. But yeah, these players, Omarion Hampton from the Chargers, I know he didn't get too many yards, but they look so confident. I know they have a backup running back. I forgot his name, but he's around quite a bit. I know that the Broncos have RJ Harvey and they have J.K. Dobbins as well. Jeanty and Treyvon Henderson. I know the Patriots also have Ramondre Stevenson. I know Caleb Johnson lost his starting job where he never had it to Tyler Warren from the Steelers. But man, these guys are here to stay. Watch out for them. Pick them up as much as you can. Because these young dudes, man, they're coming, and these coaches are not scared to use them. It's not like the past where these coaches would, and rightfully so, because that was successful at their time. But it wasn't like the past where these coaches only used experience and loved experience instead of just using the sheer talent that these players have. But yeah, it's a crazy draft class. Look at these players, how many yards they got. It might not seem like too much, but the first two dudes, Croskey-Merritt and Harvey, if you look at the carries they actually had, man, they got some good yards for the carries that they had. I want to see some more from Hampton, Jeanty, and Henderson. They will for sure. They're going to tear it up. But yeah, it's just interesting to see that dynamic shift in the NFL, how they're now starting to use these young players more. And the Jaguars just traded, I already said this earlier, Tank Bigsby to the Philadelphia Eagles for a couple picks, I believe, because Tank Bigsby's actually a pretty good running back. He had a good year last year. But they Tootin, Bashul Tootin, I believe his name is Tootin. I think they want to elevate his game. I think they want to make him a complimentary back to Travis Etienne. I think Travis Etienne is a great running back, but I think they really want to use him as a slot receiver as well. They want to use him all over the field. They don't just want him to be the bell cow back. That's another name for workhorse, was the bell cow back. But yeah, I think that Tutin's really going to tear it up with Jacksonville as well. I think he's going to have some good weeks ahead. But it's really interesting to see that dynamic. And now let's shift to business. The reason why I bring that up, the reason why it's so interesting to me, is because it reminds me of paradigms that we have in the workplace, especially manufacturing, maybe some other businesses as well. But how many people, how many times have you had that veteran or that person that's been with the company for a long time, just kind of skating through, doesn't talk too much, doesn't tell people too much, doesn't train people too much. But when you hire someone and you're the owner, you're the CEO, you're the executive, you're the director, you're the manager, the supervisor, the lead, you're not seeing too much activity out of this veteran, out of this vet that's been there for a long time, right? This person's been there for a long time. They're supposed to know all the ins and outs. They're supposed to be the best in your whole organization when it comes to this certain subject matter. And what happens when you're like, your bosses are telling you, hey, you know what? We really need to step it up. We've been very stagnant the last 5-10 years. We need to step up this department. Or if you look at some trend analysis charts where you can see the trend start to go down year by a little bit, it might seem a little bit year after year, but when you blow up the picture, when you're going from a macro level to a micro level analysis, you start seeing that even though it's only a little bit every year, when you take a step back, it's a lot more in 5 to 10 years, right? So you start putting initiatives in place, you start doing things, you start changing things, and you start kind of thinking outside of the box, right? And what happens in that scenario when you think outside the box, right? You start to get chastised, you start to get beat up a little bit, made fun of. Oh no, we've done things like this a certain way. We've always done things like this. Yeah, and we're not successful that way anymore. Times have been changing the last 5-10 years. Why are we no longer successful? So then you hire someone, a person from another industry, and because they don't have the experience, the same exact experience of those vets in your industry or in your facility or in your business, they get overlooked. You tell them, hey, did you train that guy today? Did you train that girl today? Did you train that person today? Oh yeah, I called them, they didn't answer. Then you talk to the new person that you hired. What happened? I've been waiting for them. They told me to meet them in their office. I've been here for 2 hours. They never showed up. Yeah, I called them. Look at my phone. I called them 5 times. They never answered. You start seeing them sabotage the training that you're trying to make. You see them trying to sabotage progression in the industry, progression in your organization. You see that happen. And it especially happens with rookies, with new blood coming in, or they might be veterans from a different industry, but you've noticed while looking at all your good employees that they all have that same common trait, and that same common trait can actually be found across several different industries, right? One of my former bosses once told me, I can teach plastics, I can't teach personality. It's one of the dopest things I've ever heard, one of the greatest things I've ever heard. That's actually why I left the gaming industry to join the manufacturing industry, because he told me that. He said, I can teach plastics, I cannot teach personality. But that's the thing, guys. We have these paradigms, we have these ideas or these thoughts or these false idols that we have this, and we think that this is the way it's supposed to be. But then when we actually dive into it, we realize that's not the way it's supposed to be. Or they probably have something that not every other person has, that I can find in another industry, that I can find in a new age group, that I can find in an older age group. Whatever the case may be, if you start to dissect why that certain position is successful or why it isn't, you might be able to find out that, man, I could hire people from another industry to come to this industry because that could be changed. I once worked with I once noticed that a lot of the engineers that I worked with at one of the engineer places that I consulted, manufacturing places that I consulted, I noticed that they had a lot of mechanics, people who went home to work on their cars. And then I noticed at the manufacturing place I worked at, same thing. A lot of the people that were really good with their hands, really good at manufacturing, they worked on cars. So I started to notice a trend that these people were mechanics at home. They were very, very good with mechanics. They were very good with it, with machinery. So I started realizing, wait a second, I can get these people from college. I can get these people from other industries, and I can bring them in because it's the same machinery that you're using. It's just for different applications. So that's what I'm talking about. I know you're probably like, whoa, how did he go from NFL rookie running backs to that? It's that, guys. Dive into what works, dissect it, find out what's going on, and start to, not, I wouldn't say gamble, but start taking a little bit more calculated risks the way these guys are with their running backs and the rookie running backs. got to start taking those calculated risks, man, because if you don't, you're just going to stay stagnant. So that's it for today. I don't want to talk your ears off. You guys have a good one. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to keep going. You guys are liking it. You guys are subscribing. You guys are watching my videos, and I think you guys are liking the way I put this towards business stuff, the business practices. I'm going to keep going. All right, you guys take care.